And I am here to share concerns with you about the Sacramento 2040 General Plan, and in particular about the housing element of the 2040 General Plan. And none of my concerns today have to do with upzoning. Given current company, that may sound surprising, but here's why I can do this. Upzoning isn't the only problem with the 2040 General Plan. There are also problems with price points of planned housing, the locations of planned housing, the environmental safety of the planned housing, and public input on this process. Allow me to explain. Sacramento has a shortage of housing. In particular, we always have a shortage of lower cost housing and affordable housing, which in turn is driving a crisis of unhoused Sacramento residents. The City of Sacramento is currently creating its next 8-year plan of housing development and city resources that will be implemented between 2022 and to 2029. This plan is called the 2040 General Plan because it is describing a vision of life in Sacramento by the year 2040 that we will begin working towards in 2022. The 2040 Vision Statement Guiding Principle number 4 says, cultivate a broad mix of housing types in all residential zones throughout the city to provide options for residents of all income levels while protecting existing residents and communities from displacement. The 2040 General Plan update says, the exclusion of lower cost housing types, for example, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, prevent lower income residents from moving to neighborhoods with the best parks, schools, and other desirable amenities. Allowing a greater array of housing types in Sacramento's residential neighborhoods will help create more equitable and inclusive neighborhoods by addressing the remnant forces of government policies of exclusion and racial segregation. It's a brave and beautiful vision, isn't it? Simply by deregulating housing development in R1 neighborhoods, Sacramento will right the racial wrongs of the past and create more affordable housing for lower income residents in high resource neighborhoods like the Pocket, Land Park, or East Sacramento. Excellent. On August 17th, the Sacramento City Council is expected to vote the current draft of the housing element into the 2040 General Plan. Does this draft of the housing element live up to the high expectations of the 2040 Vision Statement and Plan update? Stated in the housing element, Sacramento has a state-mandated regional housing needs allocation, RHNA or spoken RENA, goal to create 45,580 new housing units in Sacramento by 2029. That is 4 times more housing than was created in 2013 to 2019. So this should be enough to get us well on the way towards solving our housing shortage. But of those 45,580 new units, 20,266 will be priced in the above moderate price range. I've done the math for you. That's 44% of the proposed new development will be in the above moderate priced housing. That doesn't sound like it's going to move lower income residents into higher resource neighborhoods. So where will these 45,580 new units be built? The housing element is not specific about all 45,580 new units, but the housing element is specific about 55% of the 45,580 new units, because those units are planned to be built on vacant and underutilized parcels. Great, not going in any residential neighborhoods and breaking down existing housing, just using the land that's already ready and not green land, and we're good to go. No complaints there. So the housing element says that 26,749 new units can be built on 2,184 vacant and underutilized lots, some of which are residential and some of which are commercial parcels. and all identified in the site's inventory of the housing element. So where will the 26,749 new units be built on vacant and underutilized lots? 7,071 will be in the South Sacramento planning community, which includes Woodbine, Meadowview, North Laguna, Valley High neighborhoods. 4,705 will be in the Fruit Ridge Broadway planning community, which includes Oak Park, Tahoe Park, Fruit Ridge Manor, Colonial Village, and Avondale. These are mostly multi-ethnic, lower income, and lower resource areas. But maybe the higher resource areas of the Pocket and Land Park will have a proportional number of new units built. The high resource area of the Pocket is scheduled for 71 new units on vacant or underutilized land, and Land Park for 705 new units on vacant or underutilized land. I'm going to kind of rephrase that just a little bit for you. I'm going to condense it a bit. To put it into percentages, that's 15.5% for South Sacramento and 15% of the RHNA goal for the Pocket, home of Mayor Steinberg. 15.5% for South Sacramento. 0.15% for the Pocket. And 44% of our RHNA goal is to be in above moderate priced housing. So this housing element is sounding more like a plan to move higher income residents into lower cost areas, the opposite of the statements made by the vision statement and plan update. Moving higher income residents into lower cost areas is the definition of gentrification, with accompanying displacement of lower income residents. In the Planning and Design Commission meeting on July 22nd, 2021, Matt Hertel, a city planner who is very involved in the 2040 General Plan, said this: "We are using a SACOG grant to bring on a consulting team to get a little more resources and to work with planning staff. How do we offer more housing choice and housing options, especially in our higher resource neighborhoods?" Wait a second. Was that just an admission from city planning staff that they haven't yet figured out how to get more redevelopment and affordable housing in the Pocket and in Land Park? That there's nothing in the elements so far that will accomplish that? But isn't upzoning all by itself supposed to automatically accomplish this? Apparently not. And let's consider Matt Hertel's statement from another direction. The city of Sacramento has been developing the elements of the 2040 General Plan since at least January 2021, if not before. And we are now 3 to 4 months away from a final 2040 General Plan vote. Yet the city is right now in the process of hiring a consultant team in the hopes that the consultants might be able to accomplish the original fine intention of the 2040 General Plan, to move lower income residents into higher resource neighborhoods. And the city only has until November 2021 to do that. There's something else about the housing element that should worry every resident of the city of Sacramento. The city did not release an environmental impact report to the Planning Commission for review, nor was the general public allowed to review the EIR while the housing element was in the Planning and Design Commission. The city gives a lovely description of what an EIR is, but I'm going to abbreviate that and just say that the city itself says it's about encouraging public participation in the process. Releasing an EIR should have a beginning, a middle, and an end stage. The beginning is when the city council orders the EIR. Then in the Planning and Design Commission phase, in the middle of the process, the EIR that was ordered months before is supposed to be released for public comment and for the planning commissioners to use to help them decide if this housing element is going to create sound environmental conditions for the residents of Sacramento. Then there's the final step when just before, 45 days before the vote, they release a master environmental impact report that all the bells and whistles and all kinds of public comment, and we're going to make certain that all of this gels and works closely together. So the city just skipped the middle step. They did not release an environmental impact review during the Planning and Design Commission phase. So the residents of Sacramento have been denied access to a very important part of the public review and comment process in the creation of this groundbreaking, cutting-edge general plan unlike any other ever before in the state of California. What reason did the city staff give for not including an environmental impact report with the housing element before this point? Over the summer, city staff removed all language in the housing element about changing definitions of zoning. As this housing element does not contain any references to changes in zoning, city staff have argued that this housing element is not a planning document and therefore not subject to the California Environmental Quality Act. This housing element is now a policy statement and not a planning document. City staff have said a master environmental impact review will be released for public review and comment in November 2021 before the final 2040 general plan vote by the City Council in December 2021. However, we shouldn't be surprised at this lack of opportunity for public review and comment on an EIR as a part of creating the housing element. The city started developing this housing element by cherry-picking its public input. The proof is in the housing element itself. Now then, it's a long list. I'm going to spare us the long list. But at the end of it, to summarize, the city sought input from entities and individuals in real estate and real estate development at every stage, yet no Sacramento single-family homeowner or neighborhood association representative was included in any of the working groups during the development of the housing element. So to recap my concerns about the housing element, 44% of our RHNA goal is to be in above moderate priced housing as a gift to developers and a loss to our financially struggling neighbors. 15.5% of Sacramento's RHNA goal will be in the area of South Sacramento on vacant and underutilized lots alone, while 0.000000% of our RHNA goal will be in the pocket, the home of Mayor Steinberg. No environmental impact review was released for public review and comment during the development of the housing element, and no single-family homeowner or neighborhood group was included in the working groups for the housing element. Real estate agents and developers were included instead. Please write to your city council member and ask them to vote no on this housing element, and return the housing element to the Planning Commission while an EIR is prepared and released for the Planning Commissioners to review, and while the public is allowed to comment on the EIR. And given us a chance to speak. Thank you very much. And if you, shall we clap? We can clap? And if any of the press wants to speak with any of the speakers, just let us know and we'll be happy to wait for you. Thank you.